right, welcome in. Excuse me. A little bit of a rough start to the presentation here, but you are now rocking with Baltimore Business Development Group. I am Dominic Jones, and I'm going to be presenting for you today on the Wholesaler Partnership Program. Okay, that's what we're going to be going over. This is a full presentation, so please, I hope that you have designated at least an hour to watch this. If you haven't, then you can just stop now and come back when you have time. All right. This is me. I am Dominic Jones, one of the co-founders of Baltimore Business Development Group. I'm a licensed realtor in Maryland and Pennsylvania. I've been involved in over 300 transactions in a very short 4 years. I am a certified private money broker as well as a certified wholesaler. Hold these up here, see if you can see that. It's one certificate, and the next one, certified wholesaler and certified private money broker. I also used to teach English as a second language in the past, and I was planning on traveling the world and teaching English, but then I fell into real estate, so here we are. And lastly, I am a Baltimore native and a huge Baltimore Ravens fan. As you can see, I got my nice purple going today for the presentation just to make sure I hit that home for everybody, all right? All right, so today we're going to be going over this agenda. We did the introduction, we're reviewing the agenda now. We're going to go over an overview of the Wholesaler Partnership Program. We're going to review what a full service listing looks like, what a flat rate listing looks like, and we're going to go through some pricing examples so you can get a little bit more understanding of how the money works when you're working with us at the Wholesaler Partnership Program. We're going to go through some case studies. I'm going to show you guys some listings of assignable contracts that are either on the market now or have been on the market recently and have already sold. And then I'm going to pretty much open it up for question and answer. You can type your questions into the box, and it's going to get emailed directly to us, and then I will have our staff, review the questions, get them answered, and reply back to everybody that has some questions. All right, so this is the beginning. We want everybody here to take your business to the next level with our Wholesaler Partnership Program. If you're not getting enough interested buyers in your list of investment properties that you have under contract, join our Wholesaler Partnership Program and streamline your deals from contract to MLS and expose them to the general public at large. So, to review a full service listing and what we can provide you, first and foremost, we're going to list your assignable contracts on the MLS for sale. If you need help analyzing properties before the appointment, we will help you with that. We will also help you pull comps from the MLS to help you get a more accurate ARV. We will also help you reanalyze any properties that need either price reductions or creative solutions that have been sitting in your inventory and you've been unable to move them. So a full service listing, the split of the assignment fee is going to be 60% to you and 40% to us. We will provide professional photos, lockbox access, scheduled and monitored showings, and assist with negotiations. We will also assist with title company and the entire contract to close process. Flat rate listing. Same thing. The number one objective is to get the contract on the MLS. However, since it's flat rate, more work is required of you. You're going to provide us the photos, you're going to provide written remarks, or there's going to be none at all. And all of the marketing will direct interested parties to contact you directly. We will still help with the contracts, and we will help with negotiations as needed. And the biggest thing here that we're providing for the flat rate service is your contract to close assistance with contracts as needed, and of course, listing it on the MLS. You stay in control of the calls, so if you're just starting out and you're still looking to build up your own personal buyers list, you can do that with the flat rate listing. We assist with the contracts and getting it to the closing table. Again, I stress that is the most important aspect of the flat rate listing. We coordinate all parties involved to close the deal. So title and attorneys, lenders, buyers, sellers, agents, insurance, and sometimes the city and county if they're involved in the transaction. Just some general facts about the Wholesaler Partnership Program. Because of the nature of your business, we will need to sign both the buyer agency contract and a listing contract. So a listing contract will be needed for each assignable contract that you want to list on the MLS. This protects us and is the only way that our agent, myself, can get paid servicing wholesaler transactions. With a buyer agency contract and a listing agency contract, this comes with all the benefits of agency, such as client confidentiality, fiduciary duty, which means we have established a relationship of trust and that we must do everything work-related in your best interest. And finally, despite not owning the properties at all, we will need you to complete additional documentation, such as state forms for state and broker compliance. The next part of the webinar here is going to be the pricing examples. So we're going to go over some just to show you what it will look like with partnering with Baltimore Business Development Group to sell your assignable contracts. We will review full service listings and examples, and then we're going to review flat rate listing examples. We will discuss how concessions can affect compensation for both yourself and myself and the seller as well. And just a little disclaimer here, all of these examples are fictional situations and are only intended to be used for explanation of our pricing structures. So here's the first example. The first few are going to be all full service examples. So address is going to be 123 Main Street for all the examples here. The contract price is $100,000. The ARV is $200,000. The ask or the list price is going to be $110,000. So our projected assignment fee is going to be $10,000. Since this is a full service listing, remember the split is 60-40 on the assignment fee. So we are projecting that the wholesaler, which would be you, would get $6,000 in revenue from this transaction, and us would take back $4,000 minus any commission paid to a buyer agent. If the buyer is not represented by an agent, Baltimore Business Development Group will collect the full $4,000. The seller receives the $100,000 per the contract price, and the buyer receives the property. That is a win-win-win-win. Okay? Next example. We're going to go up on price a little bit. The numbers are a little higher. So contract price $175,000, ARV $300,000, and the ask or list price is going to be $200,000, making the projected assignment fee $25,000. The wholesaler, which would be you, would take back 60%, which is $15,000, and out of the remainder, $10,000 would come to us minus any commission paid to a buyer agent. The seller will receive the $175,000 per their contract price, and the buyer receives the property. Again, win-win-win-win. The next example, $125,000 contract price, $250,000 ARV. The ask or list price will be $145,000, making the projected assignment fee $20,000. Doing the 60-40 split, 60% will go to you, the wholesaler, which would be $12,000, and we would take home $8,000 minus any commission paid to a buyer agent. The seller will receive $125,000 per the contract price, and the buyer will receive the property. All right. So following the money, seller gets their contracted purchase prices. We will ask that all closing costs be paid for by the buyer. You, the wholesaler, will get 60% of the projected assignment fee. Us, Baltimore Business Development Group, listing the property, will get 40% of the projected assignment fee. If the buyer is represented by another realtor, due to MLS regulations, a cooperating broker compensation must be paid to that buyer's agent. The buyer's agent will be paid a flat amount determined by us out of our 40% split of the assignment fee to satisfy this requirement. So again, with working with us, 60-40, that 40% covers our payment and if we have to pay another agent for bringing the buyer, which again, our goal here is to keep the majority of the money in your pocket. This is a volume-based business. We do not want to kill our wholesalers. We know that they work off of tight margins, and to really grow the business into scale in this bad boy, you got to have revenue coming in. So that's where we want to make sure that you get 60%, whatever that is, of the assignment fee. We want to continue to fuel your business and have you keep coming back to get more contracts on the MLS. All right, so now we're going to switch over to the flat rate example, utilizing the same numbers that you saw before. So contract price, 100 grand. The ARV, 200 grand. The ask and the list price is going to be 110, making our projected assignment fee $10,000. The wholesaler U would take back 7,500 revenue, and Baltimore Business Development Group would get paid just a flat 2,500 commission, and any commission paid to a buyer agent would come out of this 2,500. The seller receives $100,000 per the contract price, and the buyer receives the property. Win-win, win-win. The next example, $175,000 contract price, ARV $300,000, ask price would be 200 grand, and the projected assignment fee would be 25,000. Out of this 25,000, you would subtract our flat fee of 2,500, meaning that you would get 22,500 in revenue, and any commission paid to a buyer agent will come out of our 2,500. If the buyer is not represented by an agent, we will collect the full 2,500. The seller receives $175,000 per the contract price, and the buyer receives the property. Lastly, $125,000 contract price, $250,000 ARV. The ask price would be $145K, making our projected assignment fee 20 grand. You, the wholesaler, would get $17,500. We would get $2,500. Again, flat rate service. Any commission paid to a buyer agent will come out of our $2,500, and if there is no representation for the buyer, we will collect the full $25,000. The seller will receive their $125,000 per the contract price, and the buyer will receive the property. Win, 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 win. Now, let's follow the money with the flat rate listing. The seller gets their contracted purchase price, and we'll ask that the buyer pays all the closing costs. You, the wholesaler, will get projected assignment fee minus 2,500 flat rate. We will get the 2,500 flat rate paid out of the wholesaler's assignment fee. If the buyer is represented by another realtor, due to MLS regulations, a cooperating broker compensation must be paid to that buyer's agent, and we've already designated that a buyer agent will be paid a flat amount of $1,000 out of our $2,500 to satisfy this requirement. All right, we're moving right along here. So a couple pricing caveats and possible future scenarios to watch out for. A lot of wholesalers don't really take this in mind unless if they have experience and they've experienced it before. So for the guys who are familiar with this, you can kind of zone out for a little bit, but for guys who are new to the game, you definitely want to perk up on this. So, seller assist or concessions required by the buyer to complete the purchase will come out of your split of the assignment fee. If the wholesaler, you, are not willing to or able to cover the required seller assistance or concession amount required for the end buyer to close on the property, we suggest that you attempt a price reduction with the seller equal to the seller assist amount being asked for to get the contract sold and maintain your projected assignment fee revenue. Seller assist and concessions, what are they? Seller assistance is essentially money from the sellers given back to the buyer to bring their closing costs down. These can also be called concessions. These are usually asked for by a residential buyer looking for their primary residence, and will be more common when selling contracts for property that need cosmetic repairs and or little to no rehab and can be moved into right away. So times when you will experience possibly being asked for seller assist is when you have properties under contract that are closer to being move-in ready, don't need a whole lot of rehab or need very little cosmetic work done, and somebody that's interested in buying it isn't an investor, they're actually looking to purchase their own primary residence. In these situations, you tend to find more seller assist and more concessions as opposed to when you're selling directly to an investor and the condition of the property needs love. All right, so we're going to show you what these look like. what these uh, seller assist deals look like in regards to the assignment fee. So at the top here, we're using the 125 example with the ARV being at 250. The ask price is going to be 145K, making our projected assignment fee 20 grand. This is a full service example, so the split is 60-40. You, the wholesaler, are projected to make 12 grand revenue. We are going to take back 8 minus anything paid to a buyer agent. So at the bottom here, if seller assist is involved, buyer requires $5,000 in help to purchase the home. The wholesaler, you, can either 1, take it out of your assignment fee, turning $12,000 revenue into $7,000 revenue. This way you don't have to go back and ask for a price reduction from the seller at all. Or 2, you can renegotiate your purchase price with the seller in the amount being asked for. So we're under contract for 125. The buyer needs $5,000 help to get into the house. We're going to ask the seller to drop the price from 125 down to 120. If they agree, the seller assist is still provided out of your assignment fee. However, because the price dropped, your revenue remains $12,000. And that's what we suggest for you to do whenever you do come into this situation. Again, like I said, we want you to make as much money as possible and keep that in your pocket so that you can continue to fuel and run your business. If you have to do option 1 here, that's just what you got to do to get the deal closed. You take a little less on this, but you make it up with volume. If you're able to convince the seller to drop the price, well then nothing changes for you. Your revenue remains the same and you can continue to move forward to closing. Flat rate. Same example, 125K purchase price, 250K ARV, and the ask price is 145 grand. The projected assignment fee would be 20K minus the 2,500 flat rate, meaning that you're expected to make 17.5 on this deal. If a seller assist is involved, and let's say for this example, the buyer requires $10,000 in help to purchase the home, you can either A, take it out of your assignment fee, turning 17.5 revenue into $7,500 revenue, or 2, renegotiate the purchase price with the seller. If you're able to convince the seller to drop the purchase price by $10,000, turning the purchase price into $115,000, your revenue remains $17.5 and everybody is happy. We can still get to the closing table. All right. Awesome. So we're 20 minutes in here and we're already at the final stage of the presentation, which is going to take the majority of the time here because I just want to really take my time with this and show you guys what these looks like and point out as many different things as possible here for you. So with the case study, we're going to be reviewing listings on the MLS of assignable contracts for sale to prove to you that our program can do what we say it can, that we're legit, and that wholesale deals do actually get done on the MLS. Addresses, agent names, owner names, and any information that could lead to property addresses or parties to these listings has been removed for the sake and purpose of this presentation. And lastly, we hope this inspires you to register for our wholesaler partnership program and get your properties listed by us as soon as possible. Here we go. We're going to be going in descending order from highest price contracts for sale to lowest price, and I'm doing this for a very specific reason. And different things I'm going to point out about each listing may include but not limited to price, status, days on market, otherwise known as DOM, HOA or COA fees, which is homeowner association or condo association fees, remarks. It's either going to be agent private remarks or remarks made to the public, showing instructions, and then compensation. So let's jump into it. Let's see if I can zoom in here for you guys a little bit. Perfect. So I pulled these listings about a week ago. So the dates, if you see some dates on there, it's about a week old. This property was located out in Owings Mills. The current status of this property is active under contract. The price $299,990. 3 beds, 2.5 baths, above grade finished square foot is $1,280. The price per square foot is $234. The year built, the style, central air, yes, no, basement, yes, no, waterfront, garage, yes, no. Association, it is in the HOA. County and location of this property is in Baltimore. This is the name of the subdivision, the name of the winner of the neighborhood. Yes, this house does have an association, and your condo fees are going to be $68 monthly. If there was a capital contribution fee for this HOA and the agent that listed this house knows about it, it would also fall under this section. Taxes and assessment, this just gives you what the current annual taxes are, the zoning, and then the assessed values. Below that, we have the rooms and their room measurements. Below that, we have building information, square footage, basement type, construction materials. And then under that, we have lot information. It just pretty much tells you how big the lot is. And then the next section here is parking, which is kind of cut off here. You can see total parking spaces is unknown. Features is on street, and it's assigned. Again, this is a HOA, so that makes perfect sense. Interior features, utilities of the house, and then remarks. So here, agent remarks are private. Only the agents can see these remarks. Public remarks are available for the world to see. Listing office, my information would be here when you list property with us. Showing information would have the access details so that people can come out and check on our property, see if they want to purchase it or not. Compensation. So buyer agency compensation, like what I was saying, has to be in every listing. If a buyer comes along that is represented by a buyer agent, we have to pay that buyer agent. As previously stated, we are going to take care of this out of our split, so I don't want you to worry about that. I just do want to make it known that if a buyer comes along that is represented by an agent, we have to pay them, and we're going to be taking care of that out of our split. Listing details here, you can read through these. This house was only 7 days on market at the time I pulled the listing. Disclosures, agent related to owner, contract purchaser. That is very important for what we're doing here in this program. We are a contract purchaser, and we are selling our contract. The contract will get you the house. However, we are not the owner. We are the contract purchaser. So keep that in mind. With any properties that are listed with a status of active under contract, there's usually a contingency in there. At the very bottom, you'll see what that contingency is. So this house was contingent on financing approval and a home inspection, and their contingency expired 6/11. Okay. The listing, before I go to the next page, the listing agent after 6/11 could come back and update this to pending, showing that now there's no other contingencies that they have to clear. So they're going to be going to the closing table pretty soon, and nobody else can get in at this point. Also, while the property is active under contract, sometimes what happens is, in regards to marketing, the homeowner and the listing agent may not be super comfortable, or what's the word I'm looking for, confident that the buyer will be able to close. So instead of going pending, you can go active under contract and continue to market the property and accept backup offers. That is one advantage to having the property listed as active under contract as opposed to pending. All right. Next property, Aberdeen, Maryland. You can see this one closed April 27th of this year, and the price was $280, adjusted down from whatever the original price was. For the sake of time here, I'm not going to read over all the details and stats about the property. I'm just going to pick out what is important to me and what I feel should be important to you as well. So, interior features, utilities, remarks. Complete with master bedroom. See this one today, it's so close to everything. Nice wood floors throughout. New kitchen and baths add to the amenities. Granite counters and so much more. So you can tell that these remarks were only written for the public. There are no agent remarks. And this paragraph here is more so written towards a residential buyer. That's very important because of the price point that we're at, 280 grand. Unless if the house can sell for 400 or more, an investor more than likely is not looking at this as a project. So this example is more geared towards selling your assignable contracts to residential buyers. And all of the higher priced examples in this case study are for the same purpose. I wanted to show you guys what it looks like to assign a contract to a residential buyer and what the actual listing and the marketing looks like when you're doing so. All right, next page, I took out the listing information. Buyer agency compensation is in there. You can see the disclosure is contract purchaser, and the acceptable financing that they would accept is conventional or a VA loan. And down here, since this property already closed, you get the information about the sale. So they listed it at $299,900 and they got $280,000. There is no seller assist or concessions on this, otherwise it would be here. And you can also see concession says no right there. And that was it. That's the deal. So if they had this property under contract for say maybe $275,000 or $270,000, then the wholesaler walked away with 80 grand, 10 grand minus whatever they paid to the listing agent. Going down to Laurel, Maryland, we have another active under contract property. The stats on the home: this house is a condo, has central air in the basement, no garage. You can see that it does have the $110 monthly co-op fee, and there's a recreation fee of $210. These are the things that the association does for you. Tax information, building info, parking, interior features, exterior features, and utilities. And remarks. Excuse the mess. Sellers are packing, ready to move in Andover Heights. 3 levels, deck, walkout basement, blase, blase, blah. This is a very, very good example of what a regular listing agent would write to sell towards a residential buyer. This is not what you would write if you're trying to sell to an investor. And again, this is a higher priced property. So again, the goal is to just sell it to a residential end buyer. Listing office taken out here, showings taken out here for privacy. And you can see that this house, when I pulled it, was still under contract. So we don't have any information on if there was any seller assist or concessions given. But the only thing holding this property up is the appraisal. And that contingency expires the 5th of July. And so far they've been on the market for 17 days. They went under contract on 6/9. Salisbury, we're still over the 200K limit. This property closed back in February of this year. 3 beds, 2 baths. It's a rancher in very good condition, built in 1988. Does have central, doesn't have a basement or a garage. It's in Wicomico, Maryland. Does have a condo fee of $100 a month. Taxes are pretty good at $1716. Total square foot is the same, $1716. That's kind of crazy. Never saw that before. Interior features, utilities, and then remarks. The agent remark here is contingent on the seller finding a new home. That's it. And the public remarks is move-in ready home, features quite a few big upgrades. Some of these upgrades includes HVAC, new roof, new front porch, bathrooms, hardwood floors, fenced backyard, storage shed, and pull-down attic for additional storage. Again, another example of a remark paragraph written for a residential end buyer. 10 days on market. You can see that all negotiation is through the lister. Home warranty is also being provided on this property. The only acceptable financing is cash or conventional. And again, disclosure is contract purchaser. Very, very important. So, since this one closed, you can tell here that we have some more information. Yes, there was concessions. The concession amount was $10,000. The list price was $239,900. The closed price was $245,000, and the buyer had a VA loan. So when you're looking at this, $245,000 minus 10 because of your concession, right? So $245,000 minus 10 is $235,000 gross, and then from $235,000 gross, you start backing out whatever your other numbers and costs are. So the split with us, you want to back out, and then how much you gotta pay contractually to the seller. You back that out, and then you're left with your revenue. Waldorf, Maryland, we got a property that closed December 21st of last year. $235,000, came down a little bit from what they was asking. This house was built in '74. It's a split level, does have central AC, no basement, no garage. This was in Charles County. HOA, $550 a year. That's pretty good. $2,458 taxes, which is also pretty good. And we're gonna jump down to the next page here. Just wanted to show you you're not missing anything at the bottom of this page. Agent remarks: extremely nice townhome for you to start home ownership. Investors aren't looking to buy their own primary residence. It's a project, it's a deal, right? So again, another example of marketing higher end properties where you can collect more of a split, more of an assignment fee by selling to a residential end buyer. Who doesn't want to get excited about getting a house under contract for $175 and selling it for $200? Come on now. I know everybody here would love to do that. Definitely type in the remarks if you would love to sell some contracts to end buyers just based off what you've seen so far. All right. Directions, see Google Maps. I usually always put GPS in there. None of the houses that I deal with ever cannot be located with GPS. So that's how I do that. They are giving a home warranty on this property, or they gave a home warranty on this property. This house was only listed for 8 days. They was open to all the forms of acceptable financing, so cash, conventional, FHA, private funds, USDA, or VA. Disclosures is contract purchaser. Again, assignment contract. They just sold the contract. All right. Property disclaimer, property disclosure subject to condo, HOA docs. That's also something that you regularly see with condos and HOA properties. Property disclaimer and property disclosure is part of the actual state forms that I was saying at the beginning of this presentation, that you will have to fill these out. Even though you are not the owner of record, because you're listing it and you're selling it as a contract purchaser, we will still need you to complete these forms. So down here, no concessions given. They found a FHA buyer, and the list price was $249,000, and they actually ended up selling it for $235,000. All right, next one, $215K, also closed in December of last year. And we got a Baltimore here, a Baltimore, Maryland property. So it's Baltimore City Public Schools, no central air, does have a basement, 3 beds, 2 baths, and this was built in 1939. It does have a garage. Taxes, $2,900. Room info, doesn't have any measurements, but they did kind of break down where the rooms are at in this house. Building info. So major reno remodel was in 2020. Again, basic information, but I do want to point that out because this is something else that will tell you if on a listing, if you're out there looking for stuff or thinking about putting your contracts on the market. If you do come across a situation where the seller is a construction guy or is a handyman and they fixed up their house so that they could sell it, then boom, we could also throw this on there that it was had a major renovation or remodel done this year or whenever that was, just to help the end buyer feel a little bit better about making an offer on your property and purchasing it. Remarks. huge remarks here. Really good example of how you want to market to a residential end buyer. This is exactly the same paragraph. I'm not going to read it here, but I will leave it up for a little bit just for you guys to browse over. All new luxury vinyl flooring, brand new gorgeous kitchen, electrical has been updated and replaced, all new lighting fixtures. A lot of the character of the original house was kept in the renovation. All right. Listing office was taken out again for privacy. Because this property closed, there is no details on showing the house. This house was actually only on the market for 2 days, which is really good. And then here you can see there was a concession given. It was an FHA buyer. Also, the disclosures from the bottom of the second page: contract purchaser, again assignment contract. Concession amount $12,564. Close price was $215 minus this $12,564, so they got about $205 or $2,025 right around there. All right. Something that is important that I do want to mention before we go to the next one is, look at this. You see how the list price is $200, right? They needed $12,000 in concession. Another strategy to avoid having to take out of your own pocket with the seller assist is to actually increase the purchase price and then subtract out your seller assist or concession that is needed. This way, it protects the seller's agreed upon price and it protects your projected assignment fee. All right. So huge jump. Huge jump. $215,000. All right. This is the last of the high price properties, dropping all the way down to less than $100,000. Okay. So now we're going to start picking up the pace a little bit more. There's going to be a lot less to go over in the listings. But these are the more volume based deals. So these are the ones that are being marketed towards investors. Okay. Baltimore, Maryland 21222 property, currently active on the market as of whenever I pulled it down. The price just recently dropped from $106,500 to $99,500. 2-bed, 1-bath house, property condition below average. The building is winterized. It does have central, it does have a basement. This house is in Dundalk. Excuse me. Building info, lot info, all the same. Now, if there's ground rent on the property, a new section will appear which shows you what the ground rent amounts are. If you do not know how to pull ground rent amounts, that's fine. We are familiar with how to do that here, so I can assist you with that. Agents. I'm going to go ahead and read these two remarks just to show the difference, okay? For your consideration is this value-added opportunity in Dundalk. What's value-added opportunity? That's an opportunity where you can buy it, add value into it, and then resell it for more money, right? So we're talking to investors here. That is our audience. This is your chance to get in at the ground floor in this desirable Dundalk neighborhood, located on a well-maintained street with mature trees and manicured lawns. This one to make your own update to your taste or purchase to fully rehab and resell for profit! Exclamation point. Check out the comps in the area. Agent C docs for required documentation to be used when presenting your offer to the seller. Please accompany all buyers. All showings and timeframes are monitored and recorded, and any unauthorized person on the premises will be reported to authorities. Yada, yada, yada. We welcome your offer, but we also stand for fairness and integrity. Please don't be that person. I've never actually seen a listing written like that, so this, in my mind, tells me that this listing agent went through some type of bad showing experience. That's the only reason why I can think that they would write this in there. But anyway, what they leave for the public is a shortened version. This one to make your own update to your taste or purchase to fully rehab and resell for profit. Check out comps in the area. All right. 2.75 going to the buyer agent. Previous list price was 106.5. This one is still active under active. Oop, this one is still active. So we do have showing instructions here. Again, the disclosure is contract purchaser. The only acceptable financing is cash. You can see the sale type is that these sellers are in foreclosure, and it's been 7 days on the market as of the time that I pulled it down. Next one, Baltimore, Maryland 21206. This property is currently pending. 95 grand purchase price at the time it went under contract. 2 beds, 1.5 baths, built in 1927, no central air, does have a basement and no garage. This property is located in Baltimore City. Taxes are $24.55 a year. This is the building information. And this is the information about the lot. Parking, interior, exterior features, utilities, and then remarks. Have you been looking for an investment property in this area? Super great opportunity to renovate an extremely large end-of-group row home with front, side, and rear yards. So many options here, such as converting the dwelling back into just a single-family home, a multi-unit home, and office building combination. The basement is unfinished and large enough for you to convert this space into added monthly income. The rear yard is accessible from the side street and alley to provide ample parking for your future tenants. The property is being sold as an assignment sale, and the purchase contract must be cash, renovation loan product, and or hard money loan. End buyer is responsible for all closing costs and buyers to verify all zoning and permitting. Property is being sold strictly as is. Perfect remark to an investor, right? You're telling them what you can do with this property. You're telling them the acceptable forms of financing. You mentioned that this is a contract being assigned for sale. You're telling them that the end buyer is responsible for all closing costs. You're telling them that they have to verify all zoning and permitting, and that it's strictly sold as is. So this is covering all bases, and it's given that it's painting the picture for the investors so that they can see what it would look like buying this property, right? So this is perfect example of remarks. Again, listing agents showing have been removed. 25% of gross is what they're giving out. That seems pretty high to me, but I'm not a party to that contract, so I don't know what's going on there. Listing details. These are the acceptable forms of financing: cash or conventional. The FHA 203B or FHA 203K are construction loans, okay? They are construction loans backed by the government. All right, no home warranty was given for this one, and disclosure is contract purchaser. So at this bottom section, the buyer agent was removed, but down here you see that it did close 6/11. They went under contract 5/23 of this year, and they was asking for, what was it, 109 originally, and they closed at 95. All right, next one. This property closed January 8th of this year, 61 grand. 2-bedroom, 1-bath house, no central air, does have a basement, no garage. It is ground rent ownership, and it was built in 1952. It's down in Baltimore City in the Morrell Park neighborhood. Taxes are super low. So you got your building info, your lot, ground rent, parking, interior features, utilities, and remarks. So agent remarks: house needs some cosmetics. It's a 2-bedroom with a club basement, being sold strictly as is. This property is lead free. This is a contract purchase. Assigner/realtor to make up the paperwork. Property being sold as is. Buyer to pay all closing costs to include all transfer docs and stamps. $2,500 deposit required. Listing office was taken out. Directions was taken out because she actually wrote how to get to the property. And disclosure, contract purchase. This contract took 38 days to sell. And you see here that the buyer bought it with cash. The last list price was $62.9, and they ended up settling at $61, and no concessions was given. Next one is a pending sale. 2-bedroom, 1-bath, fee simple ownership in Baltimore City. No central air, does have a basement. Total square foot 1344. Lot parking, interior features, utilities, and remarks. Agents, please read. This is an assignment of contract. Provided agreement must be used. That means you have to use our agreement. Do not send me a Maryland contract. Okay? You have to use our contract. Cash, hard money, private money only. Proof of funds and $2,500 non-refundable deposit required to enter into agreement. That means we are not playing around. You have to show us that you have the money, put up your deposit, and we're going to close. Otherwise, we're not even going to deal with you. Okay? We don't have time. You must use our title company. I'm going to leave this up to you to decide. If you already have a title company that you trust, that is friendly with investment deals or investment transactions, and knows your business in regards to what wholesalers do. We assign contracts. That's how we make our bread. So if you have a title company that you prefer, we will use them because we want you to feel comfortable. If you do not and you need one, we will recommend ours, okay? Buyer pays all closing and transfer fees. Property sold as is. No repairs will be made. Buyer to verify ground rent. Commission not paid to agent representing themselves. That last sentence there is also critical because you also have a lot of investor agents such as myself who like to double dip sometimes on their deals. And when you double dip on a deal, essentially what that looks like is if, say for example, I and my investment firm, Baltimore Business Development Group, wanted to purchase your contract. If you wrote in your listing the commission not paid to agent representing themselves, then if you're offering $1,000 to the buyer agent, because I would be representing myself and my firm, you're not giving me that $1,000. You're pretty much keeping that $1,000. Okay, so that's just something to keep in mind. We can also definitely write that into your listings. Therefore, it will just keep more costs back in our pocket as opposed to just giving money out all willy-nilly. All right, acceptable financing is cash or private. Disclosures, this is a contract purchase. Only took 2 days to sell. Agreement of sale date, 6/3. They're closing July 2nd, and the price never changed at all. So we don't know if the contract was for more than 60. We don't know if they got less than 60. The only way that you'll be able to tell is after the close date. After the close date, the listing agent is supposed to come back into the system and update the listing. Once they do that, you'll know if there was any concessions given. You'll know if they got what they asked for, if they got over, or if they got less. Another active property, 59.9, 3-bedroom, 1-bath, no central air, does have basement. Located in Baltimore City. Taxes are really good. Utilities, interior parking, ground rent, lot, and building info, and the remarks. Motivate a seller. Price to sell. This is an assignment. Buyer pays all transfer, recording, and closing costs. Cash, hard money, and private financing only. Seller prefers to close with master's title and escrow. Call showing contact for showings and inquiries. Present contracts directly to listing agent. Property sold as is. Buyer to verify all listing information and buyer to verify ownership interest. Call listing agent for access. And I'm skipping because I did not remove what I was supposed to. I apologize about that. Jumping on to the next one. Pending property right now, 59.9. This one went under contract the 7th of June. No central air, no basement, no garage in this one. Still located in Baltimore City. Again, all the features of the property. Remarks, sold strictly as is, cash offer only. Best offer gets it. Assignment transaction. Assign a realtor to prepare the paperwork. Do not use MRIS contracts, or do not use a Maryland contract, is essentially what she's saying. All right. 3-bedroom with a squatter in it will need a rehab, but will need to buy sight unseen and will be delivered with squatters. Recent sale in the neighborhood to $90K. Great rental neighborhood. Buyer to pay all closing, including all transfer docs and stamps. No showings. $2,500 deposit. Okay, so I left this one in here to talk about squatters. If you have a deal with squatters in the house, it is best to get the squatters out. If you do not have a real estate attorney who can assist you with the eviction process, please let us know. I can refer you to my guy, and he will evict these squatters. It will take time. However, once the squatters are out, it will be a hell of a lot easier to sell the contract and to ultimately sell the property. The seller be happy, you be happy, and the buyer be happy as well. A lot of buyers do not like to buy property that already have either tenants in them, or even worse yet, non-paying squatters. So if you have or come across a situation in the future, you don't have to really turn it down. Just know that you need to get the squatter evicted. If you know before you sign the contract with the seller that there's a squatter in there, you might want to mandate that the original seller evict the squatter. That's what I would do, personally. That way you don't have to pay for any of the attorney fees and the eviction costs. That really is not on you as the wholesaler. It's really on the current owner, and that should be their responsibility. And those costs should be their costs. All right. Another thing that I wanted to point out here is that on these lower end properties, instead of percentages, you see the compensation is now flat numbers. Okay, you're going to continue to see that as we go through the rest of these. What else on this one? 11 days on market. Disclosures, contract purchase. They're only accepting cash. And what's the status? The status of this is pending still, so this one hasn't closed yet. Okay. Yep. All right. So, next one. Currently active, being listed for $49,900. They just recently had a price reduction of $3,000. No central air, basement, no garage. This one is blah. This one is also in Baltimore City. All right. Remarks. Sold strictly as is. This is a contract assignment. Assign a realtor to make up assignment paperwork. No Maryland contracts. Buyer to pay all closing costs, including all transfer docs and stamps. $2,500 deposit required. 2-bedroom, 1-bath in good condition. Needs cleanup and paint to re-rent. Easy to show. Boom. Again, who is the audience here? Who are we talking to? With these lower price properties, we are talking to investors, right? We want investors to come in and buy our contracts. So that's how you have to write the remarks. Paint the picture for them. Tell them the terms of the contract being purchased. And then you just let it market and do what it do. Cash is acceptable financing. Disclosure, contract purchase. 10 days on market as of the time that I pulled this down. And they're still looking for a buyer. All right, so now we have another closed transaction. This one closed in February of this year. Another Baltimore City property. 3 beds, 1 bath, built in 1924. Agent remarks at the very bottom. This is assignment of contract. Provided agreement must be used. Cash, hard money, private money only. Proof of funds and $2,500 non-refundable deposit required to enter into agreement. Must use our title company. Buyer pays all closing and transfer fees. Property sold as is. No repairs will be made. Buyer to verify ground rent. Commission not paid to agent representing themselves. Perfect. Hit everything you need to hit on there. Property must be listed on MLS system for 7 days before any offer will be reviewed, negotiated, and accepted. Agent does not communicate through text message. Call or email agent. Okay, so I love the text. So I would never write that in there. However, What I do want to point out with this listing is this paragraph. Property must be, or this sentence, property must be listed on the MLS system for 7 days before any offer will be reviewed, negotiated, and accepted. Why is this important? This is important because what you're doing is creating a bidding situation. If you allow all offers to come in at any point in time, what happens is, as a licensed agent, which I am, I need to present each contract or each offer to you as soon as I get it. If we disclose and say, hey, this time period, we're not going to be reviewing any of the offers, then between day 1 and day 7 or day 14 or day 21, whenever we say this is our cutoff date, we'll collect all the offers, collect all the offers, and then boom, when it comes presentation day, I will have them all lined up for you and I'll show you the pros and cons of each offer essentially. Another thing that this does is drive up the price. When you drive up the price, or when you create a bidding situation like this, it drives up the price because everybody who's interested wants to win it. And if they don't want to lose it and they really want to go into this project, they're going to pay a little more. So just keep that in mind for whenever you get accepted into our wholesaler partnership program and you have a property that you want to list with this bidding strategy. All right, so you can see this one did close with cash. The list price was $47,700 at the time that they accepted the contract, and the closed price was $43,061.43. This one closed April 12th. I'm just coming down to the remarks here at the bottom. Sold strictly as is, needs complete rehab on Artsy Street. Buyer to pay all closing costs, okay? Great location with a lot of rehabbing going on. Seller must accompany all showings. All right, roof was completely redone with new beams. Buyer to pay all closing costs. $1,000 given to the buyer agent if there is one. Only took 7 days to get this contract sold. Cash possession was immediate, and they were asking for $54,900, and they ended up getting $42,000. Any questions? If you have questions, please type them into the chat box. What's going to happen is they will be emailed to me and my staff. We will review them and we will email you back. Another thing that you can do is you can go to our website. On the services page, there is a contact us form. Type your questions, concerns, or your comments into that website or that contact form, the little message box in the contact form, and send it on over. It's going to come into my inbox and I will have our staff read it over and respond to you. Otherwise, I'm doing great on time. I told you this is going to take an hour and we are right at the 58-minute mark. So again, I appreciate you for coming on in today and spending this hour with me and reviewing our wholesaler partnership program. Again, I'm Dominic Jones with Baltimore Business Development Group. I really look forward to reviewing your guys' applications and talking to you guys, having some strategy calls with you guys, networking with you, learning more about yourself, your business, and how we can work together to increase both of our businesses. So thanks again for your time, and to go ahead and register for our wholesaler partnership program now, we would just ask you to visit this website, baltimorebdg.com/wholesaler-partnership. On there will be a form that you can complete. Once you complete that, it will send us your application. Once we get it, we will review with our staff, and then we will reach back out to you. Currently, this program is in pilot stage or beta stage, whichever you want to call it, doesn't matter. We are only accepting 5 individuals into the program as of right now. So if you like what you saw today, go register and apply to become one of the 5 lucky people to get in and start working with me. The program will be 5 people, 5 wholesalers from now until the end of 2021. Okay, January 22 will be the launch of this program. So if you do not make it into the pilot stage, do not go far, okay? We still want you to stick around. We still want to be connected with you. We still want to be involved with you. However, we have to keep it limited so that we can work out the kinks and make sure that we are on the right track for our pilot and our beta stage. For the 5 people that get in, you're going to be helping us correct up any of these issues, ensure everything up, and then when January 2022 comes around, boom, we're going to kick it fully launch, and any and everybody that is accepted into the program will then officially become one of our wholesaler partners. Thank you so much for your time, guys. You have a blessed weekend or week or day whenever you're watching this. And again, go ahead, register if you like what you saw. If you have any questions, go ahead and type them into the chat box here, or visit us at baltimorebdg.com/services and go ahead and complete that contact us form for any questions or comments or remarks that you would like to make about the program. Thank you so much, guys. You have a blessed day, and collaborate to elevate. Ciao.